Welcome to Who You Were with Patrick Noth and Sebastian Canelli. In each episode, we ask our guests to talk about a time in their life when they were significantly different.
So I'm excited to talk to you because I've never had a conversation with you.
It's going to be great.
Isn't it so fucking weird that you like see all these people and like,
yeah,
I say hi to you. I know who you are. It's crazy. I have opinions about you and I don't know you.
Wow.
I can't wait to hear them all.
Well, I don't know what the opinions are. They're nothing real. It's just like, oh yeah, she's nice. I'll say you're nice and I have no fucking idea if you
Thank
are.
you. But no, okay, so it's really like not a lot of people know this, but I am actually nice. Even some of my closest friends don't know that
Really?
I'm actually really nice.
Why people think you're mean?
Because I don't know.
It's like a persona.
It's a persona. It's how I present myself, probably.
You're standoffish. That's like me. People think I'm mean too because I'm very standoffish.
I also I struggle to express genuine emotion. So sometimes if I'm actually saying something nice, it'll sound sarcastic.
Okay.
So people don't know if I'm being serious.
Yeah, no, literally everything you're saying sounds sarcastic right now.
That's the
Really?
That is the problem.
For your whole life, that's been...
I would say more, probably for a long time.
Do you think I show my emotions?
Yeah, I do. I do, like right now, for example.
Yeah, I know. I can't hold them in. That's a problem, isn't it?
I don't know. I think either extreme is probably not great, but it's hard because, like, if I'm trying to just have, like, a real conversation, or, like, someone came to one of my shows with his friend, and I was saying to his friend, oh, I'm really glad you came. And he was like, oh, ha, ha. I was like, no, like,
Also, people
serious.
that say, "Oh, haha," they could go fuck themselves. Honestly,
Because you just sounded you sounded that sarcastic.
they
He
suck.
thought I was saying, like, fuck you for coming or something. Can we curse on here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you kidding me?
figured.
Eat my ass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We've never
that's-
talked, and I just looked you dead in the eye within 10 minutes and told you to eat my ass.
You know
That's
what?
Sebastian's catchphrase on the show. Eat my ass.
Is that what your merch is going to say?
Oh my god, that would be. Honestly,
That will fly off the shelves.
If people wore shirts with a picture of me and it said "Eat my ass," that would be my dream. I swear to God, even if it happened, my mother would buy a shirt.
That will sell like crazy. I did a show at Rutgers and
Yes.
like 2 weeks ago, and
Food courts.
I didn't see much of the campus, but one of the other comedians was a student there, and he was saying how they all eat ass, and I'm like, that's so interesting.
At Rutgers or just nowadays?
I think nowadays, but if it's just Rutgers, like, I stand, like, I'm so all for that.
Nowadays,
That's great.
everyone eats ass.
You know what?
The young people, too.
The young people
Well,
all eat ass.
I think old people eat ass too. I just don't think they're bragging
Name
about it.
one.
I don't know. I bet you Carrie Fisher ate it. I don't know why. She was the first person that came to mind. But I swear to God, Princess
but that's
Leia
like
ate ass.
No, but I think she's saying like the average, not that Carrie Fisher like was
No.
is infamous for partying with like fucking John Belushi. Yeah, she ate ass. But like you're saying just the average Rutgers 3.5 student is eating ass these
probably.
days.
I ate ass before.
Have you?
That's so good.
Yeah.
I've never ate ass.
I never have either.
Oh my!
But I've.
Neither have I. Neither have I would never do
This
that.
was a trick to get you to admit on air.
I don't care. It was in the shower. It was the best case scenario. I'll tell you this. I'll eat an ass. I'll eat an ass, but I'll never get my ass eaten. If you want to eat my ass, you're too gross to hook up with me. That's a fucking lie. That means
Oh my God.
you're a fucking troll that lives under a bridge. If you're willing to eat my dirty swamp ass, I could, even if I shit a bar of soap, my ass is still dirty.
So you ate an ass that you consider to be like way better than your ass.
You deemed it clean, cleanly.
Most asses are better than my ass. I'll be honest. And that's okay. I have to go through life and knowing I pray I never get my ass eaten. Because you know what that means?
You're being raped or something?
No. Because you know why I pray I never get my ass eaten? Not because I don't want to feel that tingle in my butt, right?
Not because I don't want it. Not because I don't think it would be fucking
of course.
fantastic.
No, I do, because I bet you it is fantastic. You know, it must tickle you. Ooh. You know, it must fucking feel like Christmas morning, first time you realize. You know, so it's not that I don't think getting your ass eaten is beautiful.
Right.
But if I got my ass eaten, that means someone exists in the world that ate my fucking ass. And it's like the yin to the yang, you know, right?
Dude, what's wrong with your ass? Like, why not your ass?
Dude, you're
Dude,
right.
that's a fucking self-esteem thing, dude. Fucking, you should be fucking proud to get your ass. You should fucking love
Says
the person.
the man who's never eaten ass.
I've never eaten
had
ass.
his ass eaten.
I just don't know. I don't know why I would do it.
I don't know. Why not?
No one's asked me to do it. No one. I've never asked anyone to do it. I don't.
You
know.
don't ask to eat ass.
You don't ask to eat. Well,
You don't
you
send
don't
an
ask
email.
to
I
eat
send
ass.
an email.
This is not like you don't schedule it. You don't
No.
like send out a
Google
doodle poll.
Cal.
No.
You don't ask and you don't.
You just fucking dive
you don't
in.
ask on either side. Like
No.
I would never ask a guy, "Will you eat my ass?" I
Nope.
would if they
Began.
broach the subject physically. then
the
I will
subject
say
physically.
I won't stop it. But I would never put
So
someone
you
in
would
a
say,
position.
don't do that.
I won't stop it.
Oh, you would not stop it.
Right,
But
but I
no
would-
one's ever done that.
No, they have.
Oh.
But I wouldn't ever ask.
Oh, but
I
you said
wouldn't
you
say-
haven't eaten ass.
So
I haven't eaten ass.
You've had it done.
Yes.
What? Tell us.
It's different.
It's
It's
different.
really different.
It's different.
Yeah, it's really different. I don't know how graphic you want to get on the pod, but I'm the type of person, for some reason, I don't like when people go down on me, but
Sure.
I liked getting my ass eaten. But only one or two people have ever done it. And they were both like kind of freaks.
Cool.
Freaks in the sheets.
They were freaks in the sheets.
Nice.
And
But I would never ask someone because I don't want someone to like
sure.
have to say no if they're not into that sort of thing.
I know.
I feel like if you're not ready to do it, or if you're ready to do it, you're just going to kind of like go there.
And worst case
and
scenario,
then
they
someone will
say
just be like, stop.
They say
Right.
yes, and they do it for a second, and then they go,
No.
You guys know
no.
that one of my favorite podcasts, Drink Champs podcast, they literally, every guest they ask if they eat ass.
Really?
That's like a thing they do for every guest. So it's like, whenever like 50 Cent comes on, they're like, do
You
you
put
eat
it
ass?
out on the table.
Yeah, you
Sure.
put it on the
Does
table.
50 Cent eat ass?
yes.
I think
I
he
don't think
said
he
yes.
would.
I think he said yes. And
Many
like, I
men
think he was like
Eat
giving.
out of my ass.
I think actually
You could
though,
find me in the
my
club eating hella ass.
for an ass, I think mine would be good to eat because I wax down there and everything. So it's like it's very. I use baby wipes.
That's-
So
I
you're
keep
saying like
it-
maybe they are like if they're messing around with somebody else, they're just like I'm not going near that thing.
Maybe.
But you're saying you keep yours in order.
You're a good
tidy.
starter ass.
Tidy, yes.
And I'm like a
if you wanna
fucking
dip your
suicidal.
toe- if you want to dip, like yours is like the last ass someone's gonna eat.
Mine
Mine's
is
the
fucking
first.
pure opium
Yes.
right from Afghanistan, right in the fucking the vein in your cock. You know that's what my ass is.
It's not like Oxy.
It's supercharged.
Yeah, you're just, I'll hit the vape pen once. all right, we gotta intro the guest.
All right,
make sure you cut all that banter.
How long have we been doing it? We want to hit 22.
22 and some seconds. Welcome to Who You Were. My name's Patrick Noth.
I'm Sebastian Canelli. The person who was talking before wasn't me. My mother listened to an episode and she got embarrassed because I talked about getting head. And
Oh, my dad's definitely going to listen to this.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's very supportive of the podcast I do.
oh, that's so cool.
What did your mom say?
She said she got it flustered and she said she turned it off. So we'll see how far into this episode she makes it. Oh, and we're with our guest, Mary Beth Barone.
I'm here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
It's an honor.
Of
really.
course. She's an amazing stand-up. You could see her all around the city. She's doing stand-up, your show with Michael Caine.
The exhibition.
The
exhibition.
At the Public Hotel.
It's at the Public Hotel. You should go check it out. And would you tweet about your dates and shit like that?
I tweet about I don't use Twitter much anymore for
Sure.
self-care, but
Okay.
I do tweet about my dates and also my dates with guys, not my
Right,
shows.
right.
Hello. Knock, knock, knock.
You promote your
If you
dates
go out on a
with
date
guys.
with me, you're fair game.
Yeah.
But I also Instagram is my main platform.
Okay. Insta. We got to
And
follow her.
what's your handle?
At Mary Beth Barone.
And Mary Beth Barone. She
That's
got
beautiful.
it. She got the handle. Not a different Mary Beth Barone didn't get it.
No,
That's awesome.
Thank God I nabbed it.
Yeah. So this is a podcast where we bring on comedians and ask them to talk about a time in their life when they were significantly different. You kind of texted me with what you plan on talking about.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, great.
Is that great?
Should I do a big reveal?
Well, how old were you? Let's just do some some
Wait,
context.
so you two are going to know what's going on and you're just going to keep me in the dark?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in
This
the dark.
is fuck.
If you're in the
Whatever.
dark.
This is what happens.
This is what happens on the podcast.
This is what happens. You get kept in the dark.
There's no rules, baby.
There's no rules. So what year? What are we talking about? How old are you?
How old am I right now?
No, at this time.
Okay, I would say that this began probably in 5th grade. So what's 5th grade? How old are you in 5th
11,
grade?
12, 14, 17.
11, 12, 15.
I don't disagree.
I was probably 10 or 11.
10 or
Sure,
11.
10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
And
12.
What kind of music are you listening to?
I'm super into like Britney, Christina,
Yes.
pop stars.
Genie in a Bottle.
Yeah, all
I
that
watched the
stuff.
making of the video,
Genie in a
for
Bottle?
Genie in a Bottle with
Can
my
you believe
buddy.
they made a 30-minute show about making a music video?
Yeah, I can, and I needed an hour. Honestly, I only needed
I
3
needed
minutes.
an hour. Wait, what did you like about it? Was she
video.
just like hot
She was
at the
hot.
time? Yeah.
She was hot. I watched that one. I watched the Thong Song
Oh, yeah.
one. I was all about MTV. And
Drive Me Crazy with Britney
Oh.
Spears. I think they did that one too.
I can't. Oh, I can't.
I liked S Club 7.
What's that one?
That's a British band. Not band.
Are
That
they
is
like boy
so
band?
generous. No, it's guys and girls co-ed
Okay.
musical group. They had,
Very
they had
rare.
a show on Fox Family before it was ABC Family, before it was Freeform.
And this is like they have their show and then they're like, let's do a pop album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much how it went down.
So a record company was like, we're going to do a pop album for this show. This like,
Absolutely.
like Disney-ish
Yeah,
situation.
there were six people total, I think.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard their songs, but you might not know them, like off the top of your head.
If you're going to the mall, where are you going? What are you buying? What's your clothes? What's going on?
That's tough to say. I was very lanky, so I like didn't really fit in like, I don't know. I guess I didn't fit in like I always had trouble finding jeans that fit. I remember that was like a huge point of like stress for me when I was younger.
If you had to put yourself in a category,
I was not like a mall rat. I shopped at like Delia's, Old Navy,
Okay.
Gap.
okay, so like preppy.
Yeah. Oh, definitely preppy.
Yeah. Cool.
That was middle school. High school, I got more of like a fashion sense.
In high school, you got more of a fashion sense.
Yeah.
So not Gap and Old Navy. You're moved on to
To like designer jeans, Juicy, all that stuff.
Juicy. Oh,
Yeah, Juicy Couture.
I imagined. I can't believe my girlfriend isn't 5 foot tall, and 5 foot around with Juicy Couture ass.
Oh my god!
I cannot believe that's
Honestly.
I can't believe that's not my girlfriend's.
Dude,
When I was a
It
kid,
still can be. Talk
know.
to Lindsay.
yeah.
when I was a kid, I was desperate for that. It was unbelievable
That's
when they
all
put,
you wanted.
When they put the words on the ass.
Yeah, that
I
was-
said, "What man thought of this
I didn't have those
amazing
pants.
campaign?"
I had the track suits, but they didn't have writing on them.
They had nothing on, because the whole point
So you were
is
like
to
a
look at your
modest,
ass.
juicy,
A modest
juicy.
girl. Yeah. And I was always into fashion, but I really got into, because I went to Catholic school, so I had a uniform.
Sure.
We could only wear what we wanted once a month. So
And this is through high school?
No. In high school, it was public. So I remember being really excited to like go shopping and buy clothes.
So through middle school, Catholic school. Mm-hmm. And what do you want to talk about? What was like significantly different about you?
Significantly different was I was staunchly Republican
Wow.
for a lot of years.
Fifth grade?
I was watching
Well, let me
Sebastian because he
explain.
didn't know. He was the only one who didn't know, so I had to
Fifth
watch his
grade?
reaction.
And I hadn't thought about when it really started until we just talked about it. It was definitely 9/11. I was like, so
Where'd you live? Where are you from?
I'm from Connecticut,
Okay, what part?
Southern Connecticut,
What does that mean?
which is like it's right outside the city, basically.
Okay, right out-
And there's a lot of liberal people there.
And there's commuters too.
Yeah. But my family was not liberal.
How
We
old
were-
are you 9/11?
I'm in 5th grade, so I'm 10
Wow.
or 11.
And
Wow,
so you
fifth grade.
see this event happen. What changes?
So I think, actually, to go back even further, the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky thing was the first exposure I ever had to politics.
Sure.
How did you even know what was going on? Because I'm 2 years older than you. I just did the math.
Because it was all the TV, like it was on SNL.
Yes.
They were parodying it.
You
It
were
was
able
on
to
press
watch that.
conferences. Yeah,
And you knew what a blowjob was?
I didn't until then.
And
But
then you
I was
found
very
out.
young, and I knew it had to do with like penis.
Yeah.
But my
Yeah.
parents hated the Clintons because they were conservative.
Wow.
And my parents, they hate taxes. Like they didn't vote Trump this election. This is, I think, probably the first time they ever voted liberal. But they get like slammed with taxes. My mom's Catholic, so she was very into like pro-life
stuff,
and
yeah.
stuff, and like thinking that like social programs don't necessarily work, and we're
Right.
taxing people, and we need to like be stricter about like immigration stuff. So that was what I
Traditional
was exposed to.
conservative.
Does your dad own a
values.
business?
No, my dad's a doctor.
Congrats.
So, thank you. We're really, really proud of him. We're really, really proud of him.
Wow.
But
so they are like kind of influenced. I mean, obviously, like
because you have no idea anything
Sure.
else.
Right.
And then 9/11 happened, and I remember George Bush was president, and I was like, everybody just was like, he did such a great job. Giuliani, this, like, everything was so different then.
Yeah,
it
and
was.
I remember thinking, like, we just were like such conservatives. I was like, they did an election in our school when Bush was up for his second term. I remember like being so proud to like vote for him. I had a sticker on my binder that said like no flip floppers because they always called Carrie a flip flopper.
Carrie was a big flip flopper. You remember that, Sebastian?
No, dude, come on. Are you kidding me?
I'm not bullshitting you. This is like 7th and 8th grade. I'm like,
of course, I believe you because I knew there were those people.
Right.
But like, I couldn't.
So I also have 5 older siblings.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of
So
influences.
there was a lot of conversations happening that say if I was the oldest probably wouldn't have been happening.
Wow.
But I was just exposed to way more because they were older.
Are they all still conservative?
None of us are conservative anymore.
Nobody.
I would say one of my brothers is registered as an independent or moderate or whatever it is. He's not. He doesn't. He's like he's probably going to be the rich one, so he's probably going to hold on to his money if he can.
Right. And he's going to be conservative eventually once he gets enough money.
Fiscally, exactly. Fiscally, yeah.
So I want to talk about this 9/11 thing.
Absolutely. Questions?
Hey, fuck off, dude. I lived that shit, man. You know, right?
Dude, I was here too.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah, fuck on. Fuck on.
I was fucking around here.
Were you?
Yeah.
I was in 7th grade. I remember it happened. I was in Barry Bilowitz's band class. And I remember like being so excited because they kept calling everyone's names
to like go home.
To go home.
Yeah.
And everyone was cheering and they finally called my name and you walk in the hallway and everyone's crying.
Yeah.
But like so
And where are you from?
Staten Island.
Oh, that's right. I heard that on the pod with Matt Rogers.
Whoa. Yeah, so many people in like my
Same with Connecticut, Greenwich,
My
because their
world.
parents commuted or worked in the building. One kid at my school, his dad was on the plane that went down, and he
God.
like helped them. He was part of like the group of people that like took over the hijackers or whatever.
The Pennsylvania one?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was just like I didn't know. I'd never heard of the Middle East before. Like I didn't know what terrorism was.
Right.
I had no idea any of that stuff. And
because
I feel
nothing bad happened in our life.
nothing bad
yet.
had happened.
Yeah.
The baddest thing was a dude got a blowjob. And you know what? Looking back at that was a bad
Wasn't
moment.
that? Well,
It was.
It was.
It was inappropriate,
Completely.
but if that's the worst thing that happens, you know,
And it
right?
was the 90s.
Yes.
Different.
But like there was this all like everyone like joined together.
It was nationalism. It was like, these colors don't run. Like, we love America.
Yeah.
Like, brought
Did you
us
have one of the
together.
flags on your car that would fucking flap in the wind?
No, but we did. I remember having like a bake sale to like raise money for victims' families, and like just also being in Catholic school at that time. It was very much like this is just the ideology that we're gonna teach you guys, and so I was getting it from all angles. But I also think it was just a weird time to be like forming opinions about stuff because everyone was so pro America. And I remember when Al Gore ran, he was just such a joke. He was such like the laughing stock of everything. And like, I remember watching SNL and like thinking, oh, this guy's like a loser.
Yeah, he's fun to make fun of.
Well, he is a loser.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong. Our president doesn't have to be cool.
Right.
I know, but then he made an inconvenient truth, and I was like, this is bullshit. Like,
Wow, that's how deep you go?
yeah.
Because you were like, this guy's
full of
fucking
baloney.
Yeah, he's full of baloney. Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy
Wow.
is all my older siblings. We a bunch of us lived in New York at the time, and all of them supported the Iraq War at the time because everybody, and they're all super liberal. And I remember being like, no, like I remember being like the only one who didn't support it. But it was
Easy
like
for him to say now, you know?
Yeah.
This fucking asshole.
Dude, me and Obama
Revisionist
were the only
history.
fucking people who didn't support it. Me and Obama. Okay, so, but everyone was like a lot of people were like, it's scary. You know what I mean? So people go like national, support the president, you know? Yeah, support
And
the
I think it was like, it's such like a conflation of different things that were going on in my life because also my family, we used to take in foster babies, but between when they were born to when they were adopted. I'm not
just the because you said baby, foster babies, and then you got rid of them when they weren't babies no more.
Yeah, once they reached a certain age, no, they would get adopted pretty they would get adopted within weeks or months.
Gotcha.
So it was always like, well, this is what happens when you don't get an abortion because you're going to make someone else very happy, you know. Right. So it was like I was seeing that, and I was like, oh, of course, you shouldn't ever have an abortion because the baby could make, I had no idea. Right. So it was a lot of different factors that went into me just thinking that like I knew what was up.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to think like gay marriage shouldn't be legal.
Yeah.
And my uncle's gay. Like I had a lot of exposure to gay people, but it was just like marriage is sacred. You can't get married. Two men can't get married. I remember like arguing that.
You believed in God.
I did at the time, sadly.
You no longer do.
No, don't say sadly.
I think the belief in God has driven a lot of people to do a lot of bad things.
Yeah,
that's
true,
what
absolutely.
I don't like.
I think religion's fucked.
Yeah. I think about this sometimes. I'm like, do you think the men who invented religion knew that they were going to fuck shit up forever? Like, do you think that they had any concept of how bad things were going to get?
No, because people don't think about the consequences of their actions.
But also, humans love systems. They love systems and they love rules. So
it was good enough for the time, probably.
I'm sure.
But also,
and we should have left it there.
In the absence of religion, there's going to be another system and there's going to be another set of rules. Like God is almost like, to me, the idea of God is completely outside of that discussion about organized religion.
I think spirituality is different than being religious, and I was religious for a long time. Throughout high school, I was still very Republican. I had a lot of liberal friends, and I remember arguing with them about various topics. And then I remember I had a class
Can I ask an iffy question?
Yeah.
Did this include like your feelings about like Muslim people and stuff like that? Or?
We were never racist or anything like that.
I'm sorry to...
No. It's a perfectly valid question.
Yeah, because I remember there being a lot of issues around that with conservative people, especially in Staten Island where I'm from. It was like every word that you ever thought it existed, people said about people.
Yeah.
That was never really, that just never happened in my family. We've always been like very accepting, and I'm thankful for that because I think it's just a slippery slope.
Of course.
And people get so stuck in their ideologies, but I was in a class senior year called Writing Center, and that's where you help other students like write papers and stuff. And we helped an English as a second language class, and I remember reading this girl's story about how she like snuck over the border, and she was actually 21 years old, but she was like going to school, pretending to be younger. She wrote this in her paper, and I was like helping her like fix it. And I just remember reading that, and that was probably the first moment where I was like, oh, there's like a lot more to this than what I know, what I've been exposed to. But I didn't really change my tune for like a couple years after that even.
How does this manifest in your life? Like you're outspoken about it in school, in middle school. Like what's an example of that? Like
I remember getting a huge fight with my friend about immigration. Like I remember we were at her dad's house and I was saying how like I just had no idea what I was talking about.
Of course.
I was just saying how like immigrants don't pay taxes and they come over here and they take jobs and like overpopulation, just like spewing all the rhetoric that you've heard that you really don't know anything about. You don't know the deeper context of it, that like it's our country's fault that their country's so fucked up. I was in the pro-life club at Boston College. Like I never went to the March for Life or anything, but like
What's the March for Life?
It's an anti-abortion march in DC.
Wow. That's
that's
wild.
And how long at Boston College are you still in that club?
So I think I went to one or two meetings, but I dropped out of college.
Okay.
So after 2 years, I left Boston because I went to Catholic school, which was like really homogeneous and there was like no diversity whatsoever. Then I went to public school where there was like a lot of it.
Thank you for defining homogeneous.
Sebastian shit his pants when you said that.
Then I went to...
I heard homo, and I know that means same.
Same. Mm-hmm.
See? Not gay.
Right, not gay. Depends how you use it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You need to cut that.
Oh my God.
The worst thing
Absolutely
I've ever
not.
said.
Absolutely not.
Cut that.
It's staying in.
No, that was the worst. No, that wasn't the worst thing I've said.
It's not bad. You just like literally said...
You just said what you were thinking.
Well, it's also... No, it's not what he's thinking. It's literally...
That's the problem.
No, but it's literally actually what it means. It doesn't mean it's correct.
Yeah, no,
Right.
yeah. but I know it means the same.
Right. So I went to public school, which was not a lot of the same. There were a lot of different people. And then I went to Boston College, which was basically the same as my elementary and middle school. Sure. And I kind of just didn't want to be around a bunch of rich kids anymore. I was like, I've kind of moved past this a little bit.
So you were like, I'm getting out of college.
So I said, I'm going to leave. And that was when I sort of went into like politically apathetic territory, which is where I was like, I didn't vote in the election with
Obama?
Rick Santorum. Who was he? Who went up against Obama? I'm looking it up.
We look it up. This is the first use of a phone
ever. Wow.
There's another fact about this. This is the first time we've ever done recorded at night.
Yeah, this is the first, and I got a text during the podcast, first time ever.
Wow, a lot of firsts.
My mom. Let's see what she said.
Mitt Romney.
Oh my God! Holy shit! How did we forget about that?
Because
the 99%.
All white people look the same.
Yes, 99%. Here's a funny thing that I think like all conservatives, a lot of rich conservatives have to say to themselves. Like when he was saying that about like, you know, there's the 40% who don't. What was it? It's like he was like people basically want to live off the government.
Yeah,
a big chunk of people.
That's a huge belief that Republicans just like spew.
Yeah,
these people just want handouts. They want freebies type of stuff.
Yeah, everyone wants freebies. Nobody wants to work. So like, but in that same speech, I remember watching the whole thing, and I remember him saying, but you know, me and whatever his wife's name is, we worked for it. And like, I think his wife is like the heir to like Heinz ketchup or whatever.
Of course,
I remember that.
They literally all believe they did it on their own. They all believe it, because if they don't, then they're pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question.
Sure.
So, for me, at this point in my life, I was so fucking lost and self-involved. This politics didn't exist. What did politics serve you?
Nothing.
But it gave you, it felt like it gave you like a direction, or like it made, gave you less choices about what to think about things, and like gave you answers, because it didn't make you fit in with people, it sounds like.
In high school, it doesn't sound like it.
No, my friends were very liberal, but I think just, I don't know, there's something about like having a political conversation with someone and just both agreeing on something, which like used to be a fun thing. So when you would meet other conservatives, it was like, oh, we can like kind of align on this. Yeah. And there were definitely a lot of conservatives in college
and, that's
in my middle school.
A clam bake or something like that?
At a clam bake, yeah, at a lobster, a lobster bake.
Yes, pinky's out.
And I also, it wasn't even like, I just had no idea back then that like, no politicians are really working for the constituents. Like I thought that politics were truly something that citizens could engage in, and something excited me about that. Yeah. But now, I remember what I was going to say. Like now, having a political conversation with someone you agree with, it's still really maddening because everything's just so bad that like I think I have this belief that you can't put two young people in a room right now for more than 15 minutes. If you put them in a room together, politics will come up. Yeah. And they will get heated about it even if they agree. I'm so sick of talking about it, but it's just, it's all anybody can talk about right now.
Well, it's big. It's big now.
It's a huge turning point right now.
I have a theory about what serves you by having those like hard opinions. Like it's like tribal stuff, right? It's like you're on a team, but also you strike me as somebody who likes to be contrarian. I think a lot of comedians like to be contrarian, so that probably served a purpose, like being able to argue about stuff. I know I loved arguing.
I don't think a lot of comedians like to be contrarian.
A lot of them.
Come on.
No.
You're being one right now.
Yeah, you're being contrarian right
now. No, because why I do this shit is so people accept me.
Right.
It's not to push people away. It's I would lie about what other people did to fit in. I wasn't fucking so I don't think that
I don't think I'm
No. You're wrong.
I don't think that's what I'm saying though. I think like you have a unique perspective on things that somebody else somebody might not have, like and so it's unconventional and therefore contrarian.
Okay. And I've always liked that. I've always had opinions that people are like, you're insane.
Yeah.
So beyond even the political stuff. So it's like, I think part of that was, exciting. And now it's like, it's just instead of arguing with like my friends, I'm arguing with or not arguing with my parents because they have come a long way. And like all six of us really, I think, do have like a good head on our shoulders now. So we can have like a discourse, which my mom doesn't always like to engage in, but it's like, if we can help them see a little bit of like what's going wrong, I genuinely actually feel bad for them because they are true Republicans. Like they believe in the Republican, like what Republicans stand for, and that's not what this administration is doing at all. Right. And I don't think Republicans are right, but I do think that at least the ones that are really Republican have some ground to stand on. At least they have beliefs, whereas this administration they don't believe in anything.
But even like the ones who are supposed to have beliefs aren't doing anything.
They're not doing anything.
I mean, like I think like I agree with what you were saying before, is like I really don't know how much any of these people care about, like if someone's like seeking power like on that level, like I don't think they really care.
They're just motivated. When I really became disengaged with politics a few years ago, and I didn't really even become engaged again until Trump decided to run, I just remember thinking like they're so motivated by like lobbies and money and whoever is funding them that they don't care. Yeah. If they cared, there would be gun control. If they cared, they would tax the rich. They wouldn't let companies have loopholes. Like all these things that just once you kind of see it for what it is, it's just like, why would I vote? It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, they did a study. I think it was like a Harvard study or something like that, where essentially it was like based on research.
Pretty good then, huh?
Yeah, it was like you know.
Are you smart? Are you bragging?
I'm awesome. I'm actually reading a Harvard study right now. But they did
on the podcast. That's a little rude.
Yeah, that's rude.
Excuse me. So here's what it says. They said that like essentially we live in an oligarchy. Like lobbyists write our legislation. Like and if you don't put forward what the lobbyists write, you're not going to be in office.
That's the problem. Yeah. It's just such like a toxic system where if you go again, like Republicans, I'm sure don't agree with half of the shit Trump does, but they don't want to get ousted. You know, in the next whatever midterm elections. So
he's still popular.
I had this thought yesterday. I genuinely want to know if the people who voted for Trump in swing states are happy right now. Are they happy with how things are?
He still has the support of that like 30% of the country.
Where? Who are these people?
I think it's hard to admit that what you thought was wrong.
Yeah.
I think also there's like a lot of pride around shits that like you can't like to say you're wrong is one of the hardest things to do, but it's one of the most it's necessary in order to grow. Like the being able to say I fucked up, let me try to be better is the only way things get better.
Right.
And I think that it's hard because people, you don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong about anything.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? But then like it's a lesson, and I think we're lucky doing comedy shit because we have to learn constantly that we're wrong.
Yeah.
And starting to do comedy was a huge turning point for me because I got exposed to so many different voices and different people.
Yeah.
It was because I mean, my group of friends, I have a lot of gay friends, people of color, but I had never really been in an environment where the demographic was made up by just as many like non-white people as white people. And I know people say like improv's really white and stuff, but it was really interesting to just hear people and like what they thought was funny. And you can tell so much about someone, I think, from like what kind of scenes they initiate. And like there's a lot of bad people who do bad people who do bad improv. But I think it's, you know.
She's talking to everybody I coach.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's the only people that fucking listen to this. I'm kidding.
There's also a lot of good improv.
No,
Mark
a lot
my
of people.
words.
Yes, there is. Please, that's why we do it.
That's why we do it. But
because there's hope of good.
It was really, I've learned a lot in the last 3 years just about, you know, what it means to have privilege and be able to use that for good. And I'm not saying like, you know, I'm Mother Teresa, but having awareness is important because you can at least address it.
Yeah, it is. You know, I think about that shit all the time because I got my Facebook and
you have Facebook?
I couldn't sound fucking old.
You have a Facebook
I got
profile?
my Facebook.
Yeah, shut up.
Sebastian, let me push your mic a little forward.
Okay, hold on. Much better. Okay, so let me lean into that. So basically, I like see what people talk about in my old world, and I see what people talk about in the world I'm in now, and I feel, I've said this to people. I feel lucky. I feel lucky that I get exposed to this stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And
in New York, it's such an outlier too. Like it's like, you know, the rest of the country is completely different. Like not LA. Like there's not a lot of cities where we experience. Sebastian just burped. Not a lot of cities where.
Which I love. I burp on my podcast. Another thing I want to say is that I feel lucky that I used to be Republican because I have a lot of empathy for people who think differently than I do. Yeah. Even when I believe they are like unequivocally incorrect about certain things, I truly like feel for the people who are like purist Republicans who just want like, you know, a specific kind of government, and it's never going to look like that again.
Well, it's weird because they want small government, but they also spend way more money. Like George W. Bush even like spent way more money than...
And the government controls way more. Like the Republicans are so contradictory in so many ways, and I think I'm glad that I was one, and I can really see it for what it is now.
I understand like a libertarian point of view. I just don't think
it would never work here.
I just don't think any Republicans have ever done it. Like it's like they don't even have anybody representing that idea, really.
But even liberals right now are so, and I don't mean for this to turn into like a political podcast, but I'm just like, what are you guys fucking doing right now?
Oh yeah.
Now is the time to like really like put a line in the sand and say like we're coming full force for the next few election cycles, and I just don't see that happening.
No, there's so much infighting.
But that's why being politically apathetic was pretty cool, because you just don't care.
Yeah.
And you don't read anything.
Can we go back to so when you read that woman's paper, right? So that was, you said, the first moment you felt something, right?
Yeah.
What happened next? Were you like, oh, I should think about stuff, or were you like, let me forget about that feeling and just fucking move forward?
That was an interesting time because it was senior year and two of my best guy friends came out of the closet. And I've always loved gay people, loved gay men, but then I kind of had to reconcile with myself, like, okay, so your two best friends are gay, the people that you want to be happy most in the world, and you think they shouldn't be able to get married. Like, why is that?
Do you also think they're gonna go to hell?
Like, at that point, no. I never really thought, for whatever reason, I didn't think gay people would go to hell. I thought that if I had sex before I was married, I would go to hell.
You would.
And I believed I was going to be a virgin till marriage for a lot of years.
Insane how
me too. I just eat ass.
Right. Same.
Yes, of course. I float, which is when they just sit on my cock.
Right.
Oh my God. Cut that.
Do not.
We're off the rails. Honestly, we should do more at night because this is bananas.
Wacky.
No, I can't. I have a penis. I don't have a cock.
Well,
cock is weird.
That's not what you said just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, it says you had a cock. You said you had a cock.
I'm so sorry. I get so flushed when I talk like that.
So these two friends, like, how did that? Because you said you went to college and you were still kind of like pretty conservative. How did that like affect that?
I think I just had more life experiences. I was getting more life experiences and having, I don't know, relationships get deeper. You know, I met my group of friends that I'm still very close with freshman year of high school. Now we've been friends for 12 years, and I live with one of those gay best friends and his now fiance. And like, I look back on those times, and I mean, they were like...
Those are your high school friends? I think I met them.
Yeah. They're the best. And it's just like, I was just such a different person then. And I think just starting to have those life experiences on my own, where my friends and I were starting to become like adults who had autonomy. And, you know, you get out of your parents' house, you have a lot of conversations where they're not there.
Yeah.
So you're not hearing one point of view anymore. You're hearing a lot. And you know, Twitter was coming out. There was Facebook, like a lot more spread of information. And I think when you can read something and see it for what it is, as opposed to having some kind of like slant on it,
right?
I don't know. You just have a lot more like power to make your own decisions about how you feel about stuff.
And it doesn't happen overnight either. It's like a gradual process of like, So how do your parents feel about first of all, why do you think all six of you guys are now liberal? Like, I feel like that rarely happens, right?
I don't know. Because we're all smart. I hate to say it, but like...
I'm glad I used to be conservative because I understand how dumb people think.
I just know what it's like to have a limit to the information you're getting and make decisions based off that, because you don't want to know anything else. You don't want to know anymore. But when we all, you know, kind of left the nest, we all came to these conclusions in our own time. And I remember my brother he said something once that was like, if you're over 30 and liberal, you have no brain, and if you're under 30 and conservative, you have no heart or something. Like,
yeah, I've heard that shit before.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if he
like
truly believed that. Yeah, exactly. But like all my siblings, we just kind of came to that conclusion in our own time. And some of us are more politically outspoken than others, for sure.
And did you guys all like stay on the East Coast, or I'm just trying to figure out how 6 people all flip.
2 of my brothers went to school in LA at USC.
Okay.
And then one went to Notre Dame, one to University of Richmond, one to Loyola, Maryland. And my sister that went to University of Richmond, she was pretty conservative throughout college as well. She was in the Young Republicans Club.
Wow.
But now it's like she moved away. Like, she moved to Australia. Not because of the political climate, but she's like, there's literally no reason for me to come back.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's also like if you're a conservative and you move to somewhere like Australia, it's got to become very clear very fast how batshit the
insane
conservative.
And she was probably already liberal when she moved there, but it also, when you have people in your family that you could have conversations with about it, we have a group chat that my parents aren't in, and so we send each other articles that we wouldn't necessarily send to the parents group chat because we don't, we want to be respectful, but they genuinely believe that Trump is destroying the country. Even my parents.
Your parents do, yeah. And do they so you guys probably don't engage about this very often. I mean, especially under Trump, but even prior to that, were you guys like trying to sway them, trying to get them to vote for Obama or whatever?
No, it was I look back on that and I didn't realize how lucky we had it. Politics rarely came up because it just wasn't at the forefront of everyone's mind 24 hours a day.
Right.
And now it's it's everything. It's consuming everything. And so now it's tough because some of my mom's siblings are conservative and my dad's brother. But so like Thanksgiving, she's like, please just don't bring it up. But I'll go toe to toe with them. My uncle defriended me on Facebook after the election because I posted a status that said, if you voted Trump, you can eat shit and die. And my cousin and my uncle both like defriended me.
Do you get into it with them like at family events and stuff like that?
I wouldn't shy away from it.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely think that they're like uneducated and they live in a bubble.
Yeah.
I know people say liberals live in a bubble, but I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, having access to alternative facts and like just the word alternative facts is like
it's
so
a crazy.
Bubble.
I
is
know.
a bubble. It has to be a bubble, right?
Yeah.
I have a question. So this is like I worked with a lot of blue collar conservative guys when I was right out of high school. I painted houses in Milwaukee, and they were.
You can tell from his thick hands.
No, come on.
Some of the thickest fingers in comedy.
Yeah,
here's the thing, guys. I fucking paint houses. I read Harvard fucking reports, and I fucking pump iron.
You're dynamic.
Yes, he is Matt Damon.
Yeah.
How do you like them apples,
Jesus
bro?
Fucking Christ. I don't know what I could possibly say on this podcast and not have Sebastian give me shit for it. Literally, I want everything is a brag. Everything I must be bragging about. I had bought shoes the other day. Oh, you fucking bought shoes! Look at this fucking shoe, asshole! This guy's fucking got 2 pairs of shoes over here!
I mean, you're right. You caught me. And you know what?
Oh, my God.
I was wrong.
I don't even know. I think the point that I'm making is maybe problematic, but the guys that I used to work with...
You're the fucking devil!
These dudes, they would listen to Rush Limbaugh all day. But they were genuinely, interpersonally, the nicest people on the fucking planet. So nice, so sweet, adopting kids, fucking just just treating people well. Like treating people really...
That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
I really don't understand it. I really don't.
I think something is... They aren't exposed to the type of people that they're making these rash decisions about.
100%.
So I think to actually have your 2 friends come out of the closet in high school was such a blessing for you as a person because you were exposed to that. I feel so lucky because I'm a little scumbag, right? I'm a little fuckboy from Staten Island, right? I suck, but thank God my dad worked at a school for kids in the Lower East Side for kids that got kicked out of schools, and he would bring me there. And it was all these kids that had hard lives.
Yeah.
And I would go to school and I'd hear stories about all of them. And my dad always made me, be easy with that foot.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I Am I on trial here? My foot almost touched Sebastian's
I know.
foot.
Oh my god! And you have to see during the pictures we were taking the. I'm making a beautiful point, so fuck off. We're taking the pictures.
I didn't do anything.
Hey, Mary Beth, go fuck yourself. We're taking the pictures before, and I put my arm on Mary Beth's shoulders, and she goes, no, I don't like that. Yeah, I look too tiny like that. Put it around my waist. I've never walked into such a trap.
Drag me.
She's wearing a halter top. I don't know what they're called.
Crop top.
Yeah, a crop top. So she's got her skin out. So I was sweating before the podcast started, and then of course I come in here and all I can think about is eating ass. But let me get back to my so my dad, I was like lucky because I was surrounded by all these fucking Republicans and all these like blue collar people, fat ass hands, but my dad was he was educated. It sucks to say, it's like what you said before. He was educated and he knew these different worlds, and we had people in our lives. I knew gay people at a young age, so I was like constantly like had that influence in my life, and I could so easily see myself being the other person if I didn't have that.
Yeah,
so
it's so much about exposure, who your personal relationships are with, and it's so fucked up that like you need to have a personal relationship with a person that falls in this demographic to just have empathy for them. Yeah. But that's just the way it is. Yeah. Like it sucks, but
children's books are getting better now. I know this is crazy, but children's books are
sharp left turn. Children's books, guys. Everybody, listen up.
Sebastian told us he was going to segue to this at some point.
How many kids do you have?
I have none, but my sisters have a baby. Anything now. Okay.
At some point, I'm going to talk about children's books.
And I had to go buy a book, and so books aren't about they're not about caterpillars. They're not about bears no more. You know, they're not about fucking toilet bowls that talk to each other, right? They're about, most of them are about like, this is my friend, and she's from here, and I'm from here, and we're still friends. And I'm rich, and they're poor, but we all love each other, right? It's like beautiful. They're putting. I noticed there's like a big push to putting like people back in children's books rather than just like fucking pencils that talk to each other. And it's like, I could erase my mistakes, go fuck off, right? There's some like beautiful stuff that's happening in children's books because
now you're gonna tell us that you're writing a children's book.
So I'm writing this book.
Long plug.
It's about a straight white boy who will do anything to fit in with everybody. He'll do anything. So he goes over to one house, and it's his Mexican friend, and he goes, I love Mexican people. And then he goes over to his friends who are poor, and he goes, I love poor people.
And he's inadvertently super offensive.
I know. I am so sorry. But my point was, let me get my hands more involved in this. My point was that I think that's so beautiful because it does start at like a young age, teaching kids to be empathetic towards other type of people, that we're all just people.
And I think the Catholic way of thinking is that way. I think in practice it gets screwed up a lot of the time. But I want to also say, like, my parents are both incredibly smart. I think that because my mom grew up in New York.
I'd hope so. He's a fucking doctor.
Right. So my mom grew up very poor in New York City with 6 siblings, and she, became a nurse, and it was very much like, she made it, so to speak. Because, she met my dad. He's a doctor. They got married.
What part of New York?
Actually, the Upper West, but not like, it wasn't like nice then.
Right, it was when it was a shithole. It was a total shithole.
Total shithole. Yeah. So I think she came from nothing. My dad's from West Virginia. He's very smart. He's actually probably the smartest person I've ever met. But I think for them,
cool. Yeah, my dad's pretty smart too.
I mean, I haven't met your dad. In fairness, I could meet him and change my tune.
Honestly, my dad's pretty fucking smart.
I think dads have to be. Well, no, that's not true. They should be.
You know what's crazy is I say my dad grew up on the Upper East Side, but before it was nice. Yeah. I say the same thing.
Yes, there was a time. Yeah. And
my dad grew up in Brooklyn before it was
expensive. It was nice.
I guess at New York you could just say that about fucking anything at this point.
They hate taxes.
Right.
Because they have 6 kids, and so although my dad's a doctor, it's like a lot of money goes to taxes. Yeah. And then the Catholicism on the social side. But my dad, I think, is more easily like flippable than my mom, because I don't think he has as much invested in the social aspect of it. But like, they're both smart people. So of course, when you're growing up around that, these are two smart people. They're my parents. They know what's right.
Right.
Your parents suck.
It's almost more confusing.
It's very confusing.
That they're smart. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a strong. I'm just learning to form opinions different than my parents, and I'm 29 years old.
Yeah,
and I'm just learning this now, and that's really strong to be able to do that as a young adult.
Well, I really attribute it to my siblings and my friends.
Your older sibling, having older siblings.
Yeah, and it's not like my parents were evil and like didn't let us have opinions or anything like that. My parents have always encouraged us to be free thinkers, and like even when we don't necessarily agree with them, which we're so lucky for, because I feel like a lot of times that can create like distance in the family, but we're able to coexist, and we're a very close family. And I think, I'm just glad that I can see the other side of it, so I know it's wrong. Like, I was Republican. I remember having those beliefs, not believing in global warming. We need to crack down on immigration. Gay people shouldn't be able to get married. Abortion should be illegal. All these things that, like, I believed so deeply.
Yeah.
And now I just have seen the light.
Yeah. So you drop out of school. Did you move to New York?
I lived home for a bit, and then I moved to New York like 6 months later.
Wow.
And I got a job at an eyewear company.
At a what?
An eyewear company.
Glasses?
Yeah. Because it's called Warby Parker, but not everyone's heard of Warby Parker.
Everyone knows Warby Parker.
Not everybody does.
We get 45 downloads, and everyone, I coach every single fucking download that
I swear to God,
happens, okay?
this is a new phenomenon where Sebastian just shits on the podcast on it.
Stop being so self-deprecating.
So when you moved to New York, you're working at Warby Parker.
Warby Parker. Ever heard of it?
Let's get back to Warby Parker.
Ever heard of it?
And that's when you could finally see.
That's when I saw the light.
Oh my God, Sebastian!
That's when I saw the light.
You want me to cut the thing that I'm doing? You are the worst.
That's when you can finally see clearly.
What if you did that at the end of every episode? So who you are now? It's like a fucking pun every time.
I'm so sorry.
I loved it.
So then you were working there. What happened?
Yeah. How did it? Yeah.
I worked there for almost 4 years, and at first they wanted me to go back to school, but I really didn't want to finish. I thought I was going to transfer to Parsons, but I ended up not wanting to do that.
Sure.
So I just kept working there, and then eventually moved up in the corporate ladder, so to speak. And then I was dating someone that also worked there, and that's when I signed up for improv. And then a few months later, I started doing stand-up, and then within 6 months of starting comedy, my boyfriend and I were no longer dating. I moved out of our apartment and kind of was like on my own as a young person. Yeah. I had been on my own. I'd lived, with roommates and stuff, but I moved in with my boyfriend, and I felt like my life I had a set path for it, where I was going to we were going to get married. We were going to move back to Connecticut, where we were both from, belong to the yacht club our parents belonged to.
Take over Warby Parker.
And take over Warby Parker.
Yeah, sure.
And then, things just kind of changed. And that was when I grew up a lot in that time. And throughout my early 20s, that's when I was not really interested in politics at all. And then, I don't know, when you become a woman, you're out on your own. It's just like things just matter. Things matter to a different degree to you, because women's rights are important, obviously. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm not just going to be this kept woman at home in Connecticut at a house. So I want to fight for what I believe in and march and vote and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you so when you were there any significant moments that you were you remember right now that kind of took you on that path, made you take that turn?
From after I'd started doing comedy?
Yeah, for the first 6 months.
I really just I had something that was mine, and that was just so different.
Yeah.
And I was meeting a lot of new people not from Connecticut, not working in startups, people from all over the place. Yeah. And those were significant moments to me, being oh, there's just so much out here that I have no concept of right now. And then Donald Trump decided to run for president, I guess right around the time I started doing stand-up, maybe a little bit after. And I just everyone was just doing political jokes at open mics and stuff, and you kind of just have to pay attention.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was became a proponent of Hillary. And I remember watching one of the debates at what's that thrift store?
I don't know. I shop at JCPenney.
You shop at, okay. Well, they were broadcasting one of the debates, and I remember I started tearing up when Hillary Clinton was speaking, and I was this is just a very powerful moment. And that's when we still thought Hillary was going to win. So I was so proud to be part of this huge thing that was going to be so significant for women.
Where were you guys at that night?
I was doing a show at UCB.
I don't remember if I had a show, but I remember going home and my roommates were there watching, and we just lost Pennsylvania, like when I got home.
Yeah.
I was at like a full-blown Hillary victory party.
Sure. That's what UCB was supposed to be.
In Manhattan, yeah.
It was supposed to be, and it was a show. Connor Ratliff was running. It was supposed to be like this big party, and we had balloons backstage and shit like that for when it happened. And then it ended up Shannon bought everyone in the room pizza, and we gave everyone an opportunity to like talk about what they were feeling in those moments.
Wow.
I took a Xanax, I remember.
Hell yeah, how awesome was Xanax?
I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and I just thought, it's a living nightmare.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. It doesn't even seem like it was a plausible thing that could have happened.
Did you have a moment where you like came out to your parents
as a liberal?
Yeah.
I think it just kind of gained momentum, and then it hit a breaking point when this election. I think it forced people.
Recent.
Yeah, this is in the last 3 years.
So you were kind of like apathetic before that, but you were more open-minded, and then this is kind of the catalyst of being like, okay, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
And it's just forced people to be divisive. You can't play ignorant anymore, and I think that's what I was doing before.
Do you think, because Sebastian, you brought up the point about your best friends in high school and being exposed to that. Yeah. I think I really hope that young people, because there's so much exposure, like if you look at the way younger people are supposedly going to vote, right? The patriarchy will be disbanded.
Well, I think what it has to do with it sounds stupid, but I think the internet helps so much.
I completely agree.
It lets you see other people.
But also, I think the internet, at first, is poison for like an older generation who doesn't know how to use it.
It has been so impactful. Obviously, the internet's been impactful, but like you see how older people use it to spread lies.
Yeah, they don't know how to do it.
And younger people use it to share experiences. And as much as I don't like Twitter, because I think my Twitter has just become like an echo chamber. It's a lot of angry people. Yeah. I look at it, and I look at how my roommates use it, and how I've seen so many LGBT people just become empowered through the platform.
Yeah.
That makes me think it's worth it, even though I don't enjoy using it anymore. I think it's just like being able, and I think a lot of just access to information is just obviously changing behaviors.
Of course.
I read something that like teen pregnancy is the lowest it's been in however many years, even though STDs are on the rise because people have maybe more access to birth control, or they can educate themselves on how sex works instead of relying on school to do that. I think it will be better, but we need this. I just hope it doesn't get even worse before it gets better. But that's what really stresses me out.
Well, I think there is a generation of people that are connected. I think that people maybe feel less alone now because if you have secrets or if you have things that you can't talk to people about in your life, that there are.
You can find other people.
Yeah.
It's emboldened people, I think, to be more open and to talk about their experiences. I mean, if you think about even like the Me Too movement, but what scares me is that there's the converse to that, which is people who are like neo-Nazis, people who have like those subreddits.
Sure. Reddit is wild.
And I do not even go near it. But I think it's unfortunate that it brings together the good and also just like the absolute worst.
I never got social media, and I was never into it. But I'm on Weight Watchers because I'm what's the word? Fat. What's the word I'm looking for? Fat. And I'm on it, and there's a Weight Watchers social media on the phone, on the thing.
The doohickey, the
Shut up! Don't bust my balls.
You bust his balls the whole show.
No, but
on
that's fun. I laugh after I do it. The people know I'm nice, right?
Of course.
And I've had I'm fucked in the head with food, right? And I'll go on that, and I've learned to reach out to people. And I know that's like I found like a little community in the app, and it has nothing. No one else can go on it unless you pay for Weight Watchers and you go on the thing. But like I could post like I'm having a bad day and I want to fucking go to town on some shit, and some people will send me like messages being like, "You got this, don't fuck up." Like
there's power in community.
Awesome.
There's power in this community, and I guess I never understood that because I keep my shit down. I keep it inside because I want people to think I'm like the baddest boy in town.
Of course.
But so it's nice to have.
It works too because everybody you have that reputation.
I told someone I was doing this podcast. They said, "Wait, Sebastian, baddest boy in town."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was the most endearing. That's awesome. It was like the least bad version. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not even. I know that was a joke, but in my head, I'm taking that as a win.
Take it to the bank. You pocket that and you think about it later.
Dude, fucking and he was wearing a "Eat My Ass" shirt.
Yeah, with your face on it. Weirdly.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
Somebody, please make "Eat My Ass" shirts with Sebastian's face on them.
But like you see how much good comes out of that, and then you think about like Russia impacting the election through Facebook, and it's like, ooh, like at what cost? I think there's so much good has come from it.
Sure, I think also we're even bad at it. Like I think like generations below us are going to like it's not going to be as like you can't just be like malicious and horrible to people because it's going to be such a regular way to communicate.
At a certain point, there has to be consequences to what you say on the internet.
Exactly.
Because I know like even now like schools are figuring out what to do with kids with online content and what they say when they go home, because that was never an issue.
You guys hear about that app that somebody fucking developed that was like literally like it was like for schools, and you could download it and you could anonymously post about anyone at your school?
They had that when I was in college.
Yeah, they had that shit too.
It wasn't an app though, it was a website.
Yeah, it was a website and you could post, and no one ever posted about me.
Someone posted about me before I even got there. It said I was a slut, which was not true at that time. So that pissed me off. Say what you want now, but that is not. I was not a slut when I went to Boston College. So that's bullshit.
Wow.
That's fucking bullshit.
That
bullshit.
Sucks.
It was college.
Sure. Yeah.
Best of times.
It's confusing, but I do think that like I don't know. I'm like I just have to hope things are good. I'm stupid. And in a way I'm stupid. And I go, how can't people see that they hurt people?
Yeah.
And I know, like, that's my own fucking dumminess. I go, can't you see that this is better for people?
Thing.
I know, I'm a simple man.
And that's good. Because if people would just think about it in those terms, I think it would be a lot easier for people to get on board. But with, they don't think about it that way. They're not thinking about humans as humans. That's very evident.
I don't understand how you can't. Like I had someone come up to me in my family and they go, are you one of these crazy liberals, Sebastian, or can I talk to you? and I go, what do you mean? And they go, what do you think? I go, at the end of the day, you have to treat people like people, and you can't take away like their human rights. And I go, if someone doesn't believe that, then we can't.
No, we can't have a conversation
because I don't understand money and taxes and shit like that because I'm dumb in that way.
But they're dumb in the way that they don't want to acknowledge like systematic oppression.
Sure,
which, like,
because they don't want to be wrong.
They don't want to be wrong, and they don't want to say, "Oh, what we've been doing is actually so bad for like a majority of the people in this country."
And because you feel stupid to say, "Oh, wow, I've made mistakes." But I said earlier, I was like, that's the only way you could get better is by being like, I'm flawed. This is what's wrong with me. Mm-hmm. And when I've only been flawed in my life, so I'm lucky. So it's easy for me to go, I'm wrong.
Yeah, I've had to admit it.
Yes.
Like I've had to admit it multiple times because I get my ass kicked.
Yeah. And some people, I used to hate being wrong, and I don't really like. Oh, okay, change my mind. I would love change my mind.
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong.
Sure. It's like scientists that say they ask, "Do you believe in God?" And they go, "Well, I don't know. I'd love to. Can you give me proof?"
Right. Yeah.
I love to believe in God is such a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fucking confused about God.
God is extremely confusing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I used to pray. I used to like
alone. You would be alone, and you would put your hands
pray.
together.
I would be on my knees in my room.
On your knee. Did you feel
something?
No.
Wow.
I mean, then I just believed in it so hard.
You believed that you felt something.
But like, yeah, it never. I don't know. I was like really into being Catholic when I was younger.
I have a question. Yeah. When you're alone in a room, do you feel like you're alone?
Honestly, no.
Right? Isn't that a crazy feeling?
That's so weird.
Because I'm alone in a room and I never feel alone. I always feel like there's something with me.
The only place I've ever felt alone, Los Angeles. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I never feel alone in New York. Never. But when I'm driving in a car, like in LA, or I'm at my friend's apartment by myself, knowing I'm so far away from anyone else, that is truly the only place where I've ever felt that way.
Sure.
It's fine, yeah.
It's good for what it's good for.
Did you go for work?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Congrats.
I mean, when I say that, it's like I booked shows myself and went there and like didn't get paid for most of them. But
sure.
Yeah, it was fun.
Sure.
Yeah, but you got
That's
to
cool.
go do some stuff.
Oh, I made a lot of great contacts.
Yes.
A lot of networking.
A lot of networking.
I don't know how to network.
I don't either.
It's hard. It's hard in comedy.
Right? But you're good at it.
I just because I had a job before, I look at my career like a company. Like I'm starting my own company.
I don't know how the fuck to do that, man. I'm so bad at that.
I was a project manager, so I think about things very like
you're the project then.
Right. And my career is the project that I'm managing right now. So.
And that's how you have to operate, I think. Like
but
a lot of
I see a lot of people who just like fly, by the seat of their pants or whatever, and they still get shit.
So what if your company and your whole charm was that you're kind of a mess of a man that's funny in the moment?
Honestly, the sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
No.
I mean, think about you on a talk show. Think about you like doing promo, doing press for stuff. Like, there's like nuggets, like
sure.
I see the pull quotes now, eat my ass.
Eat my ass. I could pitch 15 shows with Sebastian.
15 shows off that. But so what's your approach? Do you have? I mean, we don't have to get into
this. Is also this is going to devolve into us asking Mary Beth for advice.
No,
it's just like you were my student.
I don't know
now
anything.
You're killing it.
I don't know anything.
It is cool to see. Like from when you were in one of my classes, you were in a couple of my classes, but early on, and just to see how much you've done. Like I feel like your work ethic is like. It's incredible.
It just doesn't feel like a lot. It's like how you don't see yourself age, because you're looking at it every day. Like when I see people I haven't seen in a while, they're like, "Oh, it looks like you're killing it." And I'm just like, I mean, I'm still sad all the time.
Totally,
I still feel like I have no credits to my name, and like nothing going for me.
Well, I mean, that's never.
Viceland.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Wait, where were you on Viceland? I didn't know.
I was on Viceland for this comedy docuseries that they did. That was like fun.
The sad thing never ends.
I know, and that's what my roommate said to me. He was like, I know someday you're going to do a late night set, and I don't even want to see you the next day. Yeah. Because you're going to be a mess.
I think we were talking about the Gary Shandling doc.
Which was so profoundly good.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It actually made me mad how good it was.
Yeah, it was so good. And that's what happened right after The Tonight Show. He just fucking breaks down.
I can't, I've worked on this in therapy too. I can't get excited about stuff. I just can't. If I have a good show, I'll be happy for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I've learned from this fucking stupid thing I'm doing?
What? Which stupid thing, first of all?
The comedy stuff.
Comedy, yeah.
I feel like anytime I get excited about stuff, I just get sad about it afterwards, which is so horrible.
Yeah, and I was taught, it's terrible.
It's like teaching me. That's how they train dogs.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you get excited, no, you fucking dumbass, right? And I feel like that's what it's doing to me. So even if something good is happening, I don't feel good.
I know. And you know what sucks too? Nobody wants to get excited or talk about anything exciting that they have going on because it could all be gone in the blink of an eye.
Of course.
So I was explaining it to my roommates because they had heard something that I might be doing, and they were like, "Why didn't you tell us?" And I was like,
"Oh shit, what is it?"
It's like it's a commercial that his sister is casting, and she texted me about it. And by the way, amazing. I think it fell through. So they were like, "Why didn't you tell us about it?" And I said, "It's kind of like when a woman is newly pregnant and she's not talking about it yet because you might lose the baby. It's like, I don't want to get people, this project is going to not, there's such a better chance it's not going to happen."
Well, you always assume, I mean, I feel like you have to, even when the best thing, you think it's going to be the best thing in the world. Like somebody called me the other day with this opportunity that might happen, and I know it's not going to happen. First of all, I know it's not going to happen. But second of all, you have to just be like, well, that's not going to happen. You have to immediately write it off as if it's never going to happen because it's not.
But that's sick.
And then every now and then it might.
Right.
You
know?
know?
That's a terrible way to live, but that's the only way you can survive.
But we want to be creative.
Sure. I had like an article that wrote something I was supposed to do, and it all fell through. So I didn't want to tell anybody, but then everyone found out, and now I have to just constantly tell people, no, I don't have a show.
Yeah. The Viceland thing, I didn't tell anyone even the day of filming because I was like, they're going to call me and say it's off. Yeah. I signed contracts.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're going to say it's off. I'm not telling a soul.
If I have a line on a show or a few lines, I don't tell anybody till after it airs. I don't know the fucking psychopaths that go on their Instagram. Hey, I'm gonna be on Samantha Bee tonight. Yeah. I go, what type of fucking maniac are you that you think that you're guaranteed to be
help.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah, they need help, right? I will never. Maybe I'll tell my mother after it airs.
After it airs.
After it airs.
But you're not gonna promote it.
I'll never promote anything in my life. I'll never promote.
Why not?
Because I think my look is better if it seems like I've never had a credit in my.
But you're so funny.
Yeah.
Like good things are gonna happen. Yeah. They're already happening.
Please.
So you're not
they're
gonna.
already happening, right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
And you're not gonna.
Going on.
Yeah. You're not gonna promote the podcast, and you're actively gonna shit on it when we're doing it.
I don't want to sound patronizing at all. It's just like it's insane to me when I talk to people who I see as like incredibly successful, and they feel the same way I do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like
I don't think anyone.
It never stops. It never stops.
No one feels good.
I think it's gonna be. I mean, I just don't think it's gonna be the source of feeling good. Like like career.
But that sucks. It's the only thing I love in the world.
But you love it.
No, you know what? I always say this. I go, I loved comedy so much I ruined it for myself. Doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I did the same thing with Percocets. What's the word?
Wait a minute! I did too.
I loved them so much. I loved them so much I could never take another one.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy though? I was talking to somebody else about this, and it was like, man, is this like it becomes not fun?
Yeah.
Like it becomes not fun when you're thinking about it in those terms.
High.
Do you have something you watch to get back to the fun place?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I do. I got.
What do you watch?
What am I gonna share that shit with you? Come on. No, I watch
dog porn.
No, dog porn. Yeah, dude, I got this fantastic. It's called You Go Dog.
When I want to get back down to earth,
dude, it's a couple dogs. Of course, I watched the whole storyline going up to the owners take them to the dog park, and all of a sudden comes in this big dog. This big dog, and all the dogs go, oh. It's the fucking opening to Home Improvement. Oh. And all the dogs look over, and then the dog, you see the muscles, and then it pans down to just a fucking lipstick cock. Not penis. I have a penis. The dog has a cock.
Do not edit this out. I will kill you. I will kill you if you edit this out.
And then oh my god. And these dogs don't lick each other's dicks. They suck each other's dicks.
This is the hardest yes I've ever heard.
You've never seen a dog suck a dick. Usually you expect you've seen dogs lick dicks, but the dog's choking on a cock.
I can honestly say I've never seen a dog lick a dick.
You've never seen a dog lick a dick?
No.
Well, you open your eyes. Dogs are licking dicks all the time. I'm watching TV. I'm playing Fortnite. I look over. My cat's always licking her privates. Always. I had a dog that was constantly licking its dick.
Yeah.
I did have
licking its own, not another dog.
Well, yes. Well, because they get embarrassed. They do that in the privacy. But dogs do lick each other's dicks. It feels good.
They lick each other's dicks?
Yes!
I can't.
See, you know what?
You don't think that dogs lick each other's dicks?
I don't know how far they've gotten.
Yeah, that seems like, I mean, it seems like maybe...
How?
Maybe, like, if they're cleaning one another, they might graze the dick.
The physics?
One dog is underneath another dog on its back?
We're talking a Great Dane just standing up with a hard cock, and a Chihuahua comes along.
Oh, my God.
A Great Dane's dick would kill a Chihuahua.
Like a gerbil sucking on the little fucking water tube.
What? Oh my god! I'm never gonna fucking gift you with dog porn ever again. No, that was horrible. That image is forever in a fucking Great Dane.
No. Just this fuck. Oh boom, ba boom, ba boom.
Oh my god. I do think...
No, I'm just fucking around. I'm just fucking. I'm just kidding. That last part was all a big JK.
But you're saying you find stuff to make it new again.
I don't know. Does it matter what I'm saying anymore?
Yeah, no, it does, because we all just came to this place where we were like, we love doing this thing, but now it's like sort of making us unhappy.
Yeah. I mean, I have stuff I go back to.
Sure.
I definitely do. But I don't know. I guess in my mind, it's just, I know it's the only thing I want to do in my life, and that's what motivates me. Like, I have given up another life that I could have had, and it's not a noble thing to do. It's dumb. Comedy will never give me satisfaction at all, but I know it's what I want to do, so that's just what I have to live with.
Can I ask who you think, what your life would look like if you hadn't made those changes?
I would be married. I would probably be pregnant or have at least one kid by now. Wow. I told my boyfriend I wanted to have kids within 3 years.
Wow.
Of where we were at that time. And we were months away from getting engaged. Months. He had just purchased an apartment in Gramercy for us to live in.
And how long ago was this?
Wow.
This was 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
And then you took fucking 101.
I mean, UCB saved me, and I think it's weird how that happened. And I really just did like stand up kind of on a whim. I didn't tell anyone I was going to go to Open Michelle at UCB. But then it was pretty clear to me, like right away, pretty much, that oh shit, this is it. Yeah,
I think maybe I talked to you about doing stand up top, because I kind of like wish that I had done it earlier. And I remember when I was teaching you, I was like, oh, you're a very similar player in the sense that I'm very analytical, and if it ain't going right, especially early on, it was so hard for me to just let go.
Not correct it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think like stand-up is nice for that reason.
It's very controlled, usually.
Yeah.
And I wish that I could derive joy from other stuff. I enjoy hanging out with my friends and seeing my family, but there's no person I'm with that I'm like, this could be it.
Right.
I could give it all up for you.
Yeah.
And
maybe you won't have to give it up for somebody.
I hope not. I won't.
Because I was in that sick. I would say shit like that. Like, I deserve to be and you're not saying that. I don't want to paint you saying that. But I know I would say shit like, I don't deserve to be with nobody. I'm just going to be lonely and be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that now. Like, I don't know that that's the future for me.
But it also sounds like you were very far along in a relationship. And
I know who I am in a relationship. I know what kind of person I become. And it's like, it's not me.
Oh my God, it's so hard. Yeah, I feel like that happened to me. You just gotta it's like a full-time job to get better at being in a relationship.
It is. It's so much work. I've ever done. It's so much work to share your life with someone. It's an insane concept that people even try.
Yeah,
I have so much respect for couples that like each other. I was with my friends in Chicago this weekend.
I love that word.
Yeah.
Like each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what it is. You need to. It's easy to love somebody. It's hard to like them throughout.
On a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
I was in Chicago and I stayed with my friend who's been dating a guy. I met them both at Warby Parker as well. Nice. She's a SoulCycle instructor now in Chicago, and he has a job in sales.
Oh, I probably know her from all the SoulCycle.
Yeah, for sure. Christine.
Oh, of course, Christine.
But they like each other. They were joking around with each other, and like they weren't taking like cheap shots. Like, they were just like, she like said something, like responded a little bit rudely, and immediately go, I'm so sorry for doing that. Like, that, why did I say it like that? It was seeing something like that. It was just like, oh my God, like, you guys are amazing. You're doing it. Like, you're a pleasure to be around.
How was that different from the guy you
and
almost
Sebastian?
Yeah.
As a dynamic.
You were just noting us.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I'm here less time than you are. I waited till you were outside. I go, now I'll go in.
My boyfriend and I.
What does that mean? What are you saying? You hate me?
No,
that's what he's saying.
Is that what that means?
It's such a lie.
What does that mean?
No, I'm just fucking
with you too.
My boyfriend and I loved each other, but I think I started to become a different person because of comedy. And I wasn't just down for whatever anymore. Like, I didn't want to go to football games, and I didn't want to,
Was he a conservative?
I don't really know. We never really talked about it.
Wow.
That was during the apathetic.
Yeah, I was just like, meh, whatever.
In Gramercy?
Yeah.
Does he live there?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Gramercy?
It's like 21st and 3rd was where our apartment was.
Oh,
and
right
he
by
wanted
Kips
to move
Bay.
but not Kips Bay.
Uh-huh.
No, it's very different.
Okay.
It's Gramercy. He wanted to move to Brooklyn. I said, no, I want to stay in Manhattan. And then I lived in that apartment for 1 month.
So right near the Kips... right near the Kips Bay Lowe's in Gramercy?
Yeah.
Because it feels like It's right by that theater, right?
It's right
Kips
by
Bay?
the Gramercy Park. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, have you ever, the Kips Bay Theater that's like 2 blocks away from...
2 avenues? Mm-hmm. It's 2 avenues.
Oh, it's 2 avenues.
So it's different.
Oh, wait, Gramercy, is that like kind of, it almost feels like a gated...
Don't say Kips Bay.
It almost feels like a gated Kips Bay.
Oh, I'm going to kill you. Don't you dare come for Gramercy. They're different.
No, I know. Does he still live in Kips Bay?
As I mentioned, he still lives in Gramercy in that apartment.
Wow.
And so you got a kid. You're in Connecticut.
Yep.
Yeah.
We belong to the yacht club. Maybe I don't work anymore, or I'm like gonna not work soon.
What do you do at a yacht club?
You play tennis.
Play tennis.
Swim.
He
had a boat. Not a yacht, but a boat.
He has a boat in this future life?
He has one now,
He currently has a boat.
Yeah.
In Kips Bay?
Wow.
Yeah, he docks it in the bay. in the bay of Kips.
In the Bay of Kips.
Kips Bay. Very different life. I probably would have been fine if that was how my life turned out. Fine would have been the best I was going to get from that.
Yeah.
But now I know I expect a lot more out of my life.
Yeah.
So
like, crippling insecurity, working hard for some dreams that are absolutely insane.
But you know what's beautiful is we don't talk that much, and I'm still able to go, she was a nice person.
Aww.
Yeah, right?
Right?
Tell everyone. No, actually don't. I like that it's a good, well-kept secret.
Yeah. And make sure you let everyone know how bad I am.
I'm going to tell them that you watch dog porn.
No, please don't.
I would never.
Please don't. I do watch regular porn.
And I think I'm so happy. I think that's amazing. I watched porn for the first time.
He's trying to throw you off the dog porn set.
By saying,
I watch regular porn.
I can't. You
regular
can't.
porn.
I couldn't
a man
shit on
comes
you.
in with a dog. Never mind. No, so you're walking down the street and there's a guy and a girl and they're holding hands and then a dog jumps.
I watched porn for the first time this year. Part of being Catholic is like being sexually repressed.
Yeah,
I think.
for sure.
So it's been a journey. We don't have to get into that, but I think if you watch porn, I'm so happy for you. It's out there. There's so much of it.
Porn's out there.
My parents were good with that shit. Like my dad, they
would like buy dog porn for you.
All right, what are we doing?
Oh my god, Mary Beth, thanks so much for coming on.
This was such a treat.
Can you plug stuff? You can
follow me on Instagram at Mary Beth Barone. I have a show at the Duplex on the 27th, which is, I guess if this is coming out tomorrow, technically same day. 9:30, I'm doing half hours with Sydney, Washington, and then the exhibition is every month.
Awesome.
At the Public Hotel.
Go see the shows, all right, guys? Stop fucking around.
And you can see her before and after pics at Who You Were Podcast on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at the same thing. Sebastian?
No plugs.
All right, guys.
What am I going to plug? Fuck that. I don't care. You know who I am. Goodbye.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Who You Were. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Guest before and after pics on Instagram at Who You Were Podcast. Send your before and after pics to whoyouwerepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at Who You Were Podcast. This podcast is produced independently. If you'd like to support it, please visit patreon.com/Patrick Noth. Thanks for listening.